Hey trader, Shane from GMT Futures and FX. Just want to take you through a walkthrough of the chop indicator. We've been through a couple of the earlier videos where we've loaded the indicator up. We've had a bit of an introduction to the chop indicator. So now we're going to have a look at it on our charts. I've loaded it up on this crude chart, looking at a 505 tick chart, which is one of my favorite charts to trade. We have some information on here that I'm going to take you through. So just to go through the basics again, we know that the chop indicator is an oscillator. It's a range bound oscillator, and it has values that fall within a range of 0 to 100. So you can see on our chart here that we've got, if we really tighten this up, we've got 0, and then we've got our highest point is 100. We've got these upper and lower limits, which are basically areas where we believe you're going to get areas of significant identification of market, the type of market you're potentially trading. So these areas are marked at certain values. So the top area is marked at 61.8, and our bottom area or bottom band is 38.2. We've got a length of 14, the default's 10. So what this is showing us though is that basically the way in which this works, the higher this indicator is running, that means that the choppier the price action, or the more range bound the price action. So what we typically see is a rising indicator is defining sideways movement. As you can see here, I've written that on the chart, and you'll see that this is what we get here. We get sideways price action, we've got a rising indicator. Then we get into a little bit of a sell-off. We get above that 61.8, and our indicator then turns bearish or starts pushing down, and that gives us an idea that there's a trend developing and strengthening. Once we get past this or below this lower level at 38.2, that tells us that the trend is actually getting stronger, and that coincides obviously with our price action. You can see here that price breaks above that range, starts to move up. We get a nice little uptrend to our next level, don't we? So there's almost two levels here of support resistance, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing an uptrend coinciding with a falling chop indicator, and then once we get to this upper level, then we're seeing that indicator turn back up and just trade above the 30 or push above the 38.2 level, and then that again starts climbing up towards that 61.8, so getting up above that higher limit. Now remember that once we start pushing up to the 61.8, we're identifying sideways price action. So this indicator can do a really good job of identifying periods of consolidation and periods of when the market's kind of moving into a trending environment. As you can see again, we get a bit of a sideways run, and then out of this channel here, this sideways choppy price action, we get a breakout, and true to form, where resistance was, we get price breakup, price comes back to test that previous level of resistance, which is now support, and you can see that there, and then we get that nice push up, and that coincides with our indicator falling away and staying below, just trading around and below that 38.2 level, and then suddenly we get up to this point here and we go sideways again. So it's this is a really good look at what we're trying to get out of this indicator. So we're trying to identify what are the upper limits that we could potentially use as a cutoff with our trending systems. So generally, if I'm running a trending strategy, I don't want to be trying to get into trades where this chop indicator is sitting above 61.8, do I? Because we're generally moving into that upper quadrant, that upper zone of sideways price action. And typically, if I'm trading a trending system and I see that my system has built in a filter to allow me to take trades when I have this indicator falling away or moving towards that 38.2 level, that's a great thing for my strategy, because I've got a higher probability of being in a market that is going to provide me a trending type environment that suits my strategy. So it's really about trying to identify what kind of market you're in and applying that market to the strategy that you're trading. We're wanting to do that automatically as part of our strategy automation. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can use this indicator, how we've got it built into our strategy on the trend and the Viper and the GMT Pivot Trader, how we've got it built in, and we can use this to improve our results, because what it's doing is it's identifying appropriate market trendiness, and it's also identifying periods where potentially there's choppiness and we don't want to be taking trades. So we can use the indicator as a cutoff, or for as a filter to get us into higher probability trade setups. So that's a quick look at the chop indicator. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to catching you on the next update. Cheers.